So, I've been playing a demo for a game the last couple of days that I just can't get out of my mind, and I'm kind of becoming obsessed with it and the whole idea of it and what it could mean going forward for potentially a new wave of indie titles? That might make it sound a little more dramatic than it is. Let me explain. So I was browsing Twitter the other day and saw a thread about a game that someone was playing from Next Fest, just a demo that came out, and the game was called Captain Blood. It looked straight up like someone found an Xbox 360 game that no one remembered and was pretending it was a demo. I genuinely thought, when I first saw footage of it, that it was some weird scene from a Fable game that I just couldn't remember. It looked identical art style-wise to Fable 2 to me. It was kind of crazy. But no, it really is its own original new title that is on its way. Apparently, this was a game that was set to come out in 2011, but due to legal issues, it just kind of got lost in the mix. But now, thanks to preservation and bringing stuff back, the devs of the game currently are finally getting it ready for a release within the next, I don't know, year or so. And this demo, oh my god, let me tell you, it's so fun. Let me give you a brief description of what this game actually is. Let me read out what it says on the Steam page real quick. Captain Blood is a pirate-themed action game where you play as a fearsome pirate seeking gold and glory. Expect adventures with cannon firing, pistol shooting, swashbuckling sword fights, and plenty of pirate shenanigans. This hack and slash features fierce combat, hordes of enemies, and flashy combos. So it already sounds really fun. I mean, it's a hack and slash game. A pirate hack and slash game already reminds me of some of my favorite games of all time that I played growing up. The two Lord of the Rings tie-in games, The Two Towers and Return of the King. Not the first one, because that one was completely different and strange. But those other two, holy crap, they really built a love that I have to this day for hack and slashes, where in between chapters you get to upgrade, find new move sets and combos, and just do more damage and beef yourself up for the end of the game. There's something so satisfying and incredibly simple about that. And from what I played in the demo, they're nailing it so far. For the past few years, there's been this pattern in indie development where they want to hit on a certain beat of nostalgia, a certain generation of gaming consoles. Right now, it feels like it's PlayStation 1. I've seen some N64, I've seen some Saturn and Dreamcast action out there, but for the most part, everyone thinks PlayStation 1 or PSX, whatever you want to call it, really. But I had yet, personally, to see someone trying to, I don't like saying cash in, it's just, for lack of better terminology, do just that, but for the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation. And I think the reason I'm so excited about this is because while I love PlayStation 1, I love PlayStation 2, Xbox, so on and so forth, GameCube, even though I rarely got my hands on one of those as a kid, the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 era, that generation, was the first time I was really able to be a part of it without begging my mom to buy a game for me or borrow something from someone else. I was able to buy my own, and it was mine. My own PS3 that no one could use except for me. And my mom, because why wouldn't I let my mom watch movies on my PlayStation? It was the first generation where I felt like I was truly myself a part of it. I was able to buy my own games, though slowly, they were mine too. Hell, I very distinctly remember going to a GameStop with my friend and his uncle who drove us there so that I could buy, I think, my very first new game upon release day ever. It was Fallout New Vegas for the PS3. God, do I wish I still had that original copy I had, man. Ugh. Absolutely incredible times. There's a part of me that really hopes that this will start a new wave of silly nostalgia design. Continue to make great games, but of course I would love it if we had a butt-ton more games that looked and felt exactly like this one. Now I can tell you, as fun as this demo is, it's still got a ways to go for sure. I don't want to sit here and complain about a demo when the game hasn't at all come out and there's no tentative release date. It's just coming soon. So Lord only knows how long this could take to arrive. But I will say a couple of pain points for me personally are just, there's no sound effects in some of the cinematics, or really all of the cinematics for the most part. And right now, some of the engagements can get a little unfair. Okay, that's just me not getting good for the most part, really. I still have a fantastic time, but dude, those guys with the guns, they feel a little cheap and shitty to me, man. They're a little mean. They're a little mean, dude. Also, as of right now, there's no controller support, which for a game like this feels super wrong. I was genuinely surprised. I went and grabbed my controller out of the spooky room behind me, got ready, and then noticed on Steam, no controller support right now. But I would imagine that something like that will absolutely come in the future. This isn't meant to be some kind of a review, of course. That should be obvious. This is just, I'm obsessed with how this game looks, the type of game it is, how it's gonna play. This feels like such a diamond in, not really the rough. I mean, there's a lot of amazing games that have been coming out the last year and are still yet to come out at this point. So I don't really want to call it a diamond in the rough, but it kind of feels like that in some ways. I'm sure that the hack and slash genre never went anywhere. It's usually just me not looking hard enough for things that I want to see. But the fact that this one just popped up in front of my face one day and was checking so many boxes for something I didn't even realize I was missing for all these years is pretty awesome. I really, really urge you to check this demo out on Steam. It's just so fun and goofy. It just reminds me of all the times I would sit down with my friend and play Fable for the 4 billionth time, or many years later when I would sit down with that same friend and we were actually able to play Fable together rather than trade the controller off. Because when Fable 2 hit and they added that co-op, that was amazing. Never had more fun in my life than with that particular generation of video games. You see that tweet or that quote all the time, I want shorter games that look worse and cost less, and I'm not kidding. I've seen that many, many times, and a lot of people share that sentiment. Okay, so real quick, I just thought Editor Robin should pop in for just a brief moment and say that the quote is quite different. I want games that are worse looking, I want games that are shorter, and I want devs to be paid more for less work, and I'm not kidding. Again, I'm a little bit paraphrasing there. And also, I would like to briefly mention that the controller support part, I was wrong on as well, because Steam told me that the game does not support controllers, and it was not designed for controllers. Steam was wrong, but I did get the quote quite wrong, but I feel like what I have to say here still stands nonetheless, so we're just gonna go ahead and let this loser keep talking. Where they don't mind if the game is a little shorter. Hell, Silent Hill 2 came out earlier this month, and it's like a 15 to 18 hour game first playthrough, and do not get me wrong, I love that. But a lot of people don't have that time. You know, they might see that and go, holy shit, the original game was like 9 hours long or something, even if you didn't know what to do. What did you guys do? What I'm trying to say is, I have seen people time and time again talk about how they want shorter experiences. They want cheaper experiences. I mean, who doesn't want that as well? I have never been opposed to shelling out $70 for something if I think it's worth it. And so far, it's worked out pretty well for me, but I totally get people going, maybe that should be a $30 game? $40 game? I mean, for God's sake, look at Pacific Drive. That game was, what, $30 full price when it came out? Just goes to show. Doesn't always have to be $70. Doesn't always have to be AAA price. And when it comes to the games looking worse, that's more of a jokey way of saying, can we bring back a silly art design? Strange aesthetics that really fit within the world? Take the original Psychonauts, for instance. It has such strong art design, such strong aesthetic. It's aged perfectly. All these years later, almost what, 20 years later, still looks fucking fantastic. Art design will always age better than just trying to make things look as realistic as possible. And don't get me wrong, I totally understand that realism is itself something that you have to specifically go for. It is design itself. But, you know, it's way more expensive to do from what little I know, and it slows things down. I mean, if you're an indie dev, at the very least, you don't have hundreds of other developers that are helping you do this. If you're 1, 2, 3 people.
3 hours later.
Sorry, this was just such a random, silly, fun surprise, and I am stupidly looking forward to this game to fully release. This demo more than convinced me that I gotta buy it, I gotta play it, and I'm gonna make a video on it when it comes out. You can bet your bottom dollar that that's what I'm gonna do. It's an incredibly fun time, it's goofy, it's silly, and I really urge you to go and try that demo. That's really all I got for you right now. Go play Captain Blood, go put it on your wish list, support it, even though we don't know when it's gonna come out yet, just trust me. Have I steered you wrong yet? Don't answer that. All right, I'm going to get back to maybe doing one more round of this demo before I need to continue working on my Silent Hill 2 video, which, yes, I am still working on, don't you worry about that. It's been taking some getting used to doing the streams again, you know? I've been trying to move my schedule around and rebuild how I do things right now because of the streams. Here, let's crawl in here real quick. They can't get me in here to... Oh, no! Right now, I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. MST to 9 p.m. MST. That's just sort of my tentative schedule right now on stream. So if you want to catch those, they're here on this channel. All right, now I've got nothing for you. I promise I've got some stuff to do. I got to finish this. I got to vacuum. I got to... Look, it's a mess out there. Can you not...
Hanging out, playing Nintendo.